Good evening, everyone. Before I hand over to the chair of tonight's meeting, I remind everyone here in the room that we are now live streaming. We politely request that all participants are being invited to speak by the chair. If you wish to speak, please raise your hand. Once invited to speak, please preface your contribution by stating your name. This will help the microphones lock in on the primary speaker and thereby maximise the sound quality for those watching at home. If you are at home and wish to participate in tonight's meeting, please turn your video on. If you are just observing, please turn your video off. Unless actively speaking, all those watching the meeting via Teams should have their microphones muted. Members of the public are reminded that public participation is for questions only. Comments, suggestions or representations may be made at the discretion of the chair of the meeting. In case of a fire evacuation, the fire point is the marketplace, but this evening there'll be no fire drills. I'll now hand you to tonight's chair, please.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the meeting of the Finance, Governance and Performance Committee of Melksham Town Council on Monday, the 9th of March. We'll begin with item 1, apologies. Do we have any apologies?
So you've got Councillor Druitt, who is being replaced tonight by Gillian. That is the only apologies I've had this evening.
So Councillor Crossley might not know to come round the back. I sent her a message.
Thank you.
Thank you. The apologies are accepted. Item 2, declarations of interest. Members are asked to declare any disclosable pecuniary interests or other interests relating to the items on this evening's agenda. Do we have any declarations of interest? I would like to make a declaration in relation to item 6 regarding the sports field and pavilion discussions involving Future of Football. My son is a member of Future of Football. However, I wish to make it clear that I have had no involvement in any discussions, negotiations or development of the proposal under consideration this evening. I hold no financial interest, managerial role or formal position with Future of Football, and I have not participated in any internal discussions relating to the project. For transparency, I am declaring this connection, but I do not consider it to constitute a pecuniary interest. Item 3. Members have received the minutes of the Finance, Governance and Performance Committee meeting held on the 26th of January 26. Are members happy that these minutes are an accurate record? All good. If I can have a proposer and a seconder, thank you. All those in favour? Thank you. Minutes are approved. Sign them afterwards. Thank you. Public participation, item 4. Members of the public may speak for up to 3 minutes each with a total time allocated of 20 minutes. I understand that Sue, you have sent in some questions already. I understand you've had a response to those. Did you want to raise them further?
I've not seen the response.
Okay, so in response to question 1, the 26-27 budget with the Realtas system, the council has recently introduced new budget codes which do not currently fully align with the existing Realtas structure. The Realtas team are currently updating the system to accommodate these changes, and once that work is completed, the budget reports will be updated accordingly. With regards to question 2, storage location notice period, with regards to the depot lease and the proposed move from Bower Hill, the current lease operates on a rolling arrangement. While there may be a short period of overlap depending on notice periods, this will effectively balance out over the course of the 12-month financial year and reflects the intended change in the council's property arrangements. Question 3, balance sheet discrepancies. The difference between the general reserves figures relates to the transfer of 13,711 from earmarked reserves associated with the Eco Toilets project scheduled for April 25. Where the general reserves appear lower on the trial balance, it is offset through the transfer code and will reconcile at the end of the year to the £2,704.143 shown on the balance sheet. The debit balance within the credit debit card control account is currently being monitored and will be adjusted as transactions settle. Question 4, the card charges. The bank card charges reference relate to the operational cost of using card payment machines. However, the majority of these charges are passed through and recharged to event performers or external users where applicable. Question 5, the IT upgrade budget. The IT upgrade proposal draws from earmarked reserves code 336, which is specifically allocated for equipment replacement. Additionally, there is 4,275 available within earmarked reserves code 334 for office equipment replacement, which can be utilised where necessary. Does that?
Can I make some comments?
Yeah.
The first question about the voucher software, that's really good to hear. It will also need to go on the website. It should be on the website. So that can be done once that's done content. The storage location, I was really making the point that because we've got a budget of 25K that is being looked at, you know, that was given us 679. I was just making the point that of that 25K, 3 months of that is going to be used when you hand it, when you give the notice in. So there's not really going to be anything left in the back year. I did ask for the cost of actually running the people while I was giving nothing. You know, not just haven't heard that. But I think that is quite a considerable amount of money. The balance sheet, that's fine, you answered that. Trial balance. Bank charges, yes, that's fine if they're credit card charges, and you're saying they're mostly for the shows, but these are going to cost corporate costs and central costs, whereas would you think it'd be more appropriate to go into the semi-hall costs?
It's something I'm aware of and I want to tidy up where they're going. They are there at the moment, you're correct.
I get what you're saying about the IT cost. The actual agenda, you're asking for it to come out of the information and technology hardware budget, which there's not enough. It's coming out of the earmark reserve. You need to say that when you vote on.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Oh, just so you're aware, on the blue pool, the valuation office have been had their that claim put in to adjust the non-domestic rates valuation there. So that is in process now.
So that would be a lot lower than what you've been charged. But
We ought to hope so. Yes. Yeah, very much. Yes.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other public participation?
Bruce just made a good point. If it is lower, will it be backdated?
Again, I've applied to do that from June 25. It's from that point. But we will see how that pans out.
Item 5, resolutions from.
We've got councillor
Oh,
Harris would like to.
Hello, good evening.
Good
Excuse me, I'm a bit under the weather tonight. There was an item on the Parish Council Finance Committee meeting agenda last week about SIL and Section 106, but I noticed there's nothing on your agenda tonight about that. I just wondered if somebody could give me an update on where you are with that.
Sorry.
Well, yes, we are having conversations with Wiltshire Council to ascertain exactly what monies there are. I've been over to see Melksham Without Parish Council as well and run through their figures. We're tying our figures and their figures up. We're waiting to hear back from Wiltshire Council with an update on where we are really.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much for that.
Hey, my name is Bruce Sanders, resident of Melksham. We've got a couple of questions, not related in any way, so from two different spectrums. The first one is about water rates, a subject I brought up before. Water rates on allotments. Can anyone confirm or give an on-record response at the next meeting that water rate bills have special negotiated rates based on the fact there is zero effluent? Yeah, a normal meter bill, the water units of consumption is used to calculate the effluent costs, which are approximately the same again as the water units. So the fact is, obviously, on allotment there is no effluent, so it should be
water in and no water out, effectively.
And if it isn't, you're paying twice when you should be paying once. Could the council consider delegating an officer to review a specific area of utility costs between each meeting and give a report? That way, best value can be maintained and focus can be given to each cost centre. Once completed, if this has proved effective, other areas of procurement can benefit from a deep review. Simple things like falling into standard rating or not using off-peak utilities costs for recharging your vehicles when you've got your electric vehicles could be useful. CCTV. Whilst only one quote is available, can I urge a council or councillors to investigate the timing and process of following up inquiries? Councillors must feel satisfied that council staff have a system that ensures quotes are chased early enough to qualify, and suppliers have had reminders of deadlines. Maybe even seek 5 reviews or have a preliminary discussion, because if people aren't going to quote for a job, there's no point you saying I've sent for 3 quotes when you know that 1 or 2 of them aren't coming back. The council deserve the chance to review 3 quotes. It's on the count. We need to find a better system if you're not getting those number of quotes coming in. You're going to be voting on getting new CCTV cameras, but if you just get cameras but you don't review the operation of those cameras and the maintenance of those cameras, then you will have spent the money for nothing, because you're going to find that cameras are offline when you come to review them because nobody's been logging in occasionally or regularly on a schedule and recording whether the cameras are online. And if they're not online, you need to have a system or policy of how do you get them rebooted, get them back online as quickly as possible. If you don't, you fail. And similarly with reviewing your CCTV, your policy, town council policy, has always been, in my considered opinion, as someone who's run CCTV, a bit of back to front. You don't look for trouble, you wait for it. And therefore, and if you haven't been asked by the police to look at your CCTV, you're never looking at it. So it's a useless tool. It's not a deterrent. Look at how many times, or ask the police, how many times have you asked us for information? How many times have you utilised what we've got? How does that compare with other towns? Why is our system, as good as it is, failing to be supportive of you, the police, in your job as other systems in other towns? And try and learn something from that and apply it to the town's policy. Because I think your policy of not using the system often enough, and with the restrictions you have, is not good. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Item 5. Resolutions from previous meeting. Members will recall that the committee resolved to appoint Goff solicitors as the council's legal representatives and Wellers to provide specialist advice relating to community infrastructure, levy and section 106 matters. Initial contact has been made with Goffs by the committee clerk, and the CEO is scheduled to meet with them on Wednesday the 18th. Does the committee wish to note any further update? Perfect. Thank you. Item 6. Campion Drive Sports Field. Draft heads of terms for the sports field and pavilion at Campion Drive. Members will recall that discussions have been ongoing between Melksham Town Council, Wiltshire Council and Future of Football regarding the long-term future of this site. Following the recent site visit involving all parties, an opportunity has emerged for Melksham Town Council to become a leaseholder of the site, with Future of Football taking a third-party lease arrangement. This structure would secure the facility for the community and sporting use, while enabling Future Football to operate from this site. The recommendation before the committee is the Melksham Town Council proceed with signing the lease for Campion Drive Sports Field and Pavilion as outlined in the draft heads of terms provided by Wiltshire Council, and that future negotiations continue with Future Football regarding their operational lease of the facility. Members, do I have any questions or comments before we move to the resolution? Please.
It's really exciting news, actually. As far as I can see, that area of land has not been used other than for dog walking for the last 8 years. To see future of football coming into Melksham is really, really good news. We know how many kids they've got playing football every single week, and to have them on our land, which we're leasing, and helping them to actually pursue their career is fantastic news. So I thoroughly support this recommendation.
I'm just wondering, have we, although the freeholder is Wiltshire Council, and they've indicated in these heads of terms that any work that we undertake will be at our cost, have we explored the possibility of obtaining grants either from Wiltshire Council or from an appropriate sports organisation?
So the conversation that we've had with Wiltshire Council Future of Football is if we decide to sign the 7-year -1 lease this evening, this same lease will be given to Future of Football. Future of Football will be accessing the grants. So they'll be accessing the grants for the land, and they'll also be accessing the grants for any recondition of the pavilion and car parks. So we'll be supporting them with their grant applications, but they will be the grant applicant.
Thank you.
Any further? Can I ask for a proposer on the recommendation?
You're right, yeah.
Proposer and seconder? Perfect. All those in favour? Thank you. Motion's carried. Item 7, Primrose Drive play area. Members will note that although the lease for Primrose Drive play area was previously agreed, it has not been formally signed. The proposal this evening is to approve the signing of the lease so that the arrangement can be formally completed. Do we need to discuss this? Is everyone happy? In that case, then, can I move to have a proposer and seconder? Adrienne and Emma. All those in favour? Thank you. Motion is carried. Item 8, CCTV upgrade. Members will recall that this matter has already been discussed at full council. The proposal is to approve the quotation from Smart Integrated Services for the Edge recording system and the upgrade of the core CCTV network to the 60 gigahertz infrastructure at a cost of £16,223.80 plus VAT. Quotes were requested from other companies, but not all were supplied. If members have any questions. Perfect. So I just want to make a couple of points. There's been a number of statements made that firstly, the CCTV was not fit for purpose. That is factually incorrect. The system that was designed at the time was correct and was as should have been, was supplied as was quoted and described. What we are purely doing now is upgrading the system to a more modern system. And the edge-to-edge recording is something that should have been included from the start, but wasn't seen as a requirement back at that time. So it's now being upgraded. These are not filling holes. Any further questions before I move it forward? Perfect. Proposer for the motion. Seconder. Thank you. All those in favour? Perfect. Thank you.
Sorry, could I just ask if we've got any timescales on this, because it's obviously an important one to get this sorted.
We have no official timescales, but as soon as it was approved, Smart said they would look and make it a priority because both actions need to be done.
Okay, thank you very much.
One thing that we are going to be doing from now on is any agenda items that require expenditure, we will always finish with identifying the line item and where they're coming from. So for this situation,
we have some existing unspent money in the CCTV budget of that £5,000. We don't expect any further costs on that. So that's part of that. And the balance of 11,600 or so is going to come from earmark 0336, which is equipment replacement.
thank you. Item 9, the communications policies. Councillors have requested the opportunity to review the communications policy in further detail prior to it coming before the committee for formal review. Accordingly, this item is being deferred to allow members to review the policy and provide feedback before it returns to the committee. Committee happy to note the position? Thank you. Item 10, proposal to reallocate the storage depot from Bower Hill. Members will note that the proposal is to relocate the storage depot to a Melksham Town Council owned site, namely Blue Pool, which would significantly reduce ongoing lease costs. Total resolution cost is estimated at 18,250. Members have any questions?
I haven't got any questions, but I do want to say that this is one of the most exciting things that have actually happened in the last couple of years, because for those of people who don't know, sorry, it comes of being sitting on the council for such a long time, our poor amenities team used to work out of the shed at the back of the town hall. Okay, so you know there was no space. It seemed like a very good solution. It was only ever supposed to be a temporary solution, because obviously if you've got your vehicles going backwards and forwards to Bower Hill all the time, you know, the amount of time that's wasted in all that, and the fact that they're not part of the wider team. And I think the very fact that we are now bringing our amenities team down on site is something which we really want to be saying, thank goodness it's happening now, because it's really important that as the team, and we've got a good team in the town hall now, and as that team grows, they need to grow. They need to grow as a team, and they need to be actually central. Yeah, they need to be central they need to be central, but they need to be somewhere where they are supported. You know, when you've got 2 or 3 of the amenities team up at Bower Hill in their unit, they're not actually being supported in the way that staff should be supported. So that is a loophole that we are closing, and I am really, really excited to see that we are actually moving out of Bower Hill. We actually gave notice on the lease a long time ago, actually, so it's only a month by month thing now, because we are way outside the terms of the lease. So from that point of view, we're going to be saving quite a lot of money, but it's not always about it. We are saving money, but it's more than that. It's about growing our team and growing our capacity, and that's what's the important thing. So I, for one, I'm delighted that this item has come to the, it's now on the agenda. Can you give us some timescales again, if possible?
I mean, we are pretty much ready to go. What we do know is we had some works that were done internally at Bower Hill. They've asked for those works to stay, so that does make the process a little bit easier. The first point of call is getting the works done for the gates, so I can have a look at that tomorrow in terms of timescales. The team were already sorting out Bower Hill because it needed to be sorted out anyway. But I will come back to all councillors in terms of those timescales. But for myself, as soon as possible would be the best solution for the team, but also the best solution financially as well.
Well, as chair of amenities facilities, I would like to propose this, because I think it's really important for our amenities team. So if I could propose this, please.
Second up. Andrew.
No, I have a question, please. At section 1B, it states the council will apply for retrospective planning permission. That appears to be in respect of the gates. Is there a reason why we're not applying for planning permission in advance, or has any discussions been undertaken with the planning department?
Yeah, so there's been some loose discussions to start off with in terms of on the, we're going to use the wrong terminology, breeze blocks at the back, there was already gates. So it looks like what we are doing is just putting gates back into the allocated gate space. So now council have approved, we will have those further conversations with planning. The reality is if we know that we're going to get planning, we can do that retrospectively. Some advice that we've taken in terms of moving it all forward. The gates are coming inwards rather than going out of the gates as well. So that does make a difference because that's not affecting the highways.
Any further questions? Seconder, please. Perfect. All those in favour? Motion carried. Thank you. Item 11, IT upgrade. The recommendation is to approve the purchase of replacement IT equipment at a cost of £10,069.15, excluding VAT, funded from the allocated IT and equipment replacement budgets. Some equipment will be retained as backup and the remainder donated to the Wiltshire Digital Drive. Any questions? Proposer, please.
Yeah.
Proposer, please.
I was just waiting for someone else.
Seconder. Julian, thank you. All those in favour? And the budget lines.
Yeah, the budget lines, we already have an earmark reserve for office equipment, 4,275. So we'll use that towards it. And then the balance will come out of earmark reserve 336 equipment. So that's another 6,000, nearly £6,800. We'll cover that cost.
Sorry, can I ask a question, which has nothing to do with this, but if we're going to do brilliantly what we're doing, which is putting the budget code on there, is there any chance of that being put onto the agendas, or am I asking for, am I asking too much here?
You can actually ask for it to be on the agenda.
I just think it would be, because, you know, it's fantastic, David, that you're giving us this information, but it would have been really helpful for me to have seen that information in the agenda. So if that's possible going forward, it really would help.
Yeah, lovely.
Cool. Item 12.
No.
Can't, sorry. Item 12, EPA&P electrical utility vehicle. Members will recall that the approved budget allowance 420 per month for this vehicle lease. Due to the expiry of the original quotation, the revised cost was 479 per month. However, our broker Planet Leasing has renegotiated this to 445.76 per month. This represents an annual increase of 309.12 over the 3-year lease period. Before proceeding, I'd like to ask the officers, has the cause of the delay in the resulting cost increase been determined, and have any lessons been identified to avoid similar situations in the future?
It's just timing. This was an unusual quote for them because it's not a standard vehicle. So it was quite hard to find a leasing company that would deal with it. So it was already a bit of a strange one. And that quote was done back in December, I think. By the time that came to council to be approved, they had obviously looked at it a bit further and decided, oh, that wasn't really enough, and hence the big increase. Because it was an unknown quantity to them, they couldn't stick to that. So we thought that that's just too much money. So we had Planet Leasing working for us to make sure they had got it down to something more reasonable. It is one of the difficulties with dealing with things. We will have a look at how we process these things and make sure that we're not going to miss out on a deal because of timings.
Yeah. Thank you. In that case, I still believe it's value for money. Looking at comparing it to the original quotations. So proposer, seconder. Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you. Item 13, financial reports. Current balances. So Unity Bank is 121,973. Unity Savings 928,619. CCLA Investments is 735,667. So total assets stand approximately 1.9. Can the RFO confirm current cash flow outlook for the remainder of the financial year is healthy?
We are on track within budget at the moment, even allowing for a couple of extra costs. If we carry on proportionately, we should be within budget. There shouldn't be too many extra things, who knows? But at the moment we are online. I'm currently closing off February, and we'll have a better indication of where we are. I can discuss that with councillors as we move along.
Yeah, I was just wondering, the repair works and redecorating that's taking place at the moment. And I understand there was some repair work to the neighbouring building.
Yes.
Recently. Is that factored into your numbers?
Yes. There is room in those codes for some of that. Some of it we will be making an insurance claim on. but that'll be the consequential damage to the building next door rather than the actual incident. We're also looking at the original installers of the roof and seeing where we can take that.
Okay.
So at the moment, there are likely to be costs, but we are trying to mitigate those costs.
Thank you. Unity, I note there's an 80,000 transfer from savings to current accounts. So we've already discussed this for clarity. It's more a instant access account rather than a savings account. So payments are made into that account prior to being transferred across different accounts. So it's not a use of 80,000, it's purely a transfer. CCLA investments, interest of approximately 2,431 was received in January. I've asked a question to the officers to just check that the investment strategy remains appropriate. Similarly to like how we should be addressing our investments and even our rates, etc. This is something to add to the list of items to be annually at least assessed and make sure they're still appropriate. Income and expenditure. Assembly Hall lettings income is significantly above the budget, so it's currently sat at 41,823 versus the estimated 30,000. So can officers confirm whether this strong Assembly Hall performance is expected to continue into the next financial year?
The Assembly Hall's had a really positive year. From April, it's also looking extremely positive with some first ticket split events booked.
So that's the new financial arrangement to hopefully will see us on the better side of the profits for some events as well. Really good. And a new manager.
Yeah,
In
new
place.
manager's joining
New manager in
forward,
place.
with the system.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. Annual budget net movement to reserves is currently projected around 331,294. Are officers comfortable with the projected year-end position, and are any budget adjustments anticipated before the financial year closes?
As we've said, really, it looks like we're fairly in line with budget overall. There are obviously ups and downs, but we are going in that right direction. And again, once February is finalised, we'll have a more accurate indication.
Thank you. Balance sheet, general reserve stands at 274,143. Are officers satisfied that current reserves remain within the council's reserve policy and risk profile? I know you've already said tonight.
Yes, 274. The standard is that we keep between 3 to 6 months of our expenditure as our general reserve. Currently, we're about £25,000 short on where we are now. With the increase in preset next year, it should be more in the region of 375,000. So we do need to concentrate on whatever money we've got at the end of the year, that we start building up that general reserve. So again, when we know the figures more accurately, we can determine how much we've got available to do that. But yeah, we mustn't spend out of that general reserve. It's got to be built up to be the correct figure. That's the starting point. But we will be working towards that and bringing it in line with where we should be.
Thank you. Trial balance, just to confirm that the debit balance in the credit debit card control account is expected and is on track to reconcile.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just a couple of payments over £500, notable payments. So there's 3 large payments on there. Just to note that these are 2 of them are actually paying for events. So they're the transfer of profit as per the arrangements for Dave Phillips Music and Neil Sanders Production. And then the ProSec Consultancy is actually the security event security company that hosts or manages the security whilst those events are on. So those are expected outgoings, not purchases. Credit control, are there any outstanding debts that officers consider at risk of non-recovery?
We are currently reviewing all the debts, going through those line by line. There's some that we need chasing. There's some things that are still in there that are going to be cancelled. Some of the events never happened. So I'm working with other officers to tie that down and bring it right up to date.
Thank you. Okay, item 14, balance reconciles bank reconciliations. The balances reconcile as follows: Unity Bank 121,973, CCLA Investments 735,667, Cambridge Building Society 91,625, and Unity Instant Saving 928,619. As members, are we content to note the bank reconciliations? Everyone happy with that? Thank you. Item 15, items to note. Members are asked to note that the venues manager will become a Melksham Town Council credit card holder for operational purposes. Any questions? Committee happy to note? Thank you. In that case then, that concludes the business of tonight's agenda. Thank you to members and officers and members of the public for attending. Formally close the meeting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's it. That's like that. Yeah.
Did not pass go.
Not pass on.
But-
Yeah.